Welcome to USA Readers, where learning English becomes an exhilarating experience. Today, we embark on a captivating journey into the life of one of history's most controversial figures, Adolf Hitler. Whether you admire his ambition or despise his actions, his story is one of dreams, failures, and unrelenting power. From a small-town boy with grand aspirations to a man who reshaped the world, this is the tale of Adolf Hitler like you've never heard before. Ready? Grab your headphones, sit back, and join us on this incredible journey that will not only improve your English but keep you enthralled until the very last word. It all began on April 20, 1889, in a quiet town called Braunau am Inn in Austria. A baby boy was born to Alois and Clara Hitler, and they named him Adolf. At that moment, no one could have imagined that this child would one day leave an indelible mark on history. In his early years, Adolf was an ordinary boy who enjoyed playing outside, drawing pictures, and dreaming of a future filled with greatness. However, his idyllic childhood was overshadowed by a strict and demanding father, Alois, who insisted that Adolf pursue a stable government career like himself. But young Adolf had different dreams. "I want to be an artist," he would confide in his loving mother, Clara. She supported his aspirations, but her encouragement wasn't enough to sway Alois's stern disapproval. "Art is not a real job," his father would shout, and Adolf would retreat into silence, hiding his tears. The relationship between father and son was fraught with tension, and their disagreements left deep scars on Adolf's psyche. When Alois died suddenly when Adolf was just 13, some thought he might feel liberated. Instead, the loss left a void in his life, an emptiness that would follow him for years. Adolf's behavior began to spiral after his father's death. Once a promising student, he now became careless, skipping classes and losing interest in his studies. His teachers remarked, "Adolf is intelligent but lazy," as he spent his days drawing rather than studying. After finishing school, he packed his belongings and moved to Vienna, the artistic heart of Austria, determined to pursue his dream of becoming a painter. Vienna, with its grand museums and bustling streets, seemed like the perfect place for Adolf to begin his artistic journey. Brimming with excitement, he applied to the prestigious Academy of Fine Arts. However, his dreams came crashing down when his application was rejected. "Your work is not good enough," the school declared. Humiliated but undeterred, Adolf tried again the following year, only to face rejection once more. The repeated failures crushed him. He was left adrift, with no school, no job, and no clear path forward. Life in Vienna was harsh. Adolf lived in squalid conditions, often sleeping in cramped, dirty rooms and sometimes even on the streets. To survive, he painted postcards and sold them to tourists, scraping together just enough money for a meager existence. Bitterness began to fester within him. He blamed others for his misfortunes, repeatedly asking himself, "Why is life so unfair?" During this dark period, he suffered another devastating blow. His beloved mother passed away. Alone and consumed by anger, Adolf's resentment toward the world deepened. In 1914, fate offered him a new opportunity. World War I erupted, and Adolf eagerly joined the German army. For the first time, he felt he was part of something larger than himself. The camaraderie, structure, and sense of purpose invigorated him. As a soldier, Adolf proved his courage, delivering messages across perilous battlefields and earning 2 medals for bravery. Yet, in 1918, when Germany lost the war, Adolf's sense of purpose crumbled. "Our leaders betrayed us," he raged, seething with anger and despair. The defeat left him yearning for a way to restore Germany's power and dignity. After the war, Germany was in shambles. The economy was in ruins, people were starving, and societal unrest was rampant. In this chaos, Adolf saw a chance to rise. He joined a small political group called the German Workers' Party. His speeches, filled with fiery passion and unrelenting anger, quickly drew attention. "Germany will rise again," he proclaimed, captivating audiences with his fervor. His words resonated with the disillusioned masses, and his following grew steadily. Adolf took control of the party, renaming it the National Socialist German Workers' Party, better known as the Nazi Party. He designed its iconic symbol, a red flag emblazoned with a black swastika, declaring, "This will become the most powerful emblem in the world." Fueled by his ambition and charisma, Adolf began to carve his path toward power, one speech, one rally, and one promise at a time. His journey was far from over, and his impact on the world had only just begun. This was only the beginning of Adolf Hitler's extraordinary, controversial, and ultimately destructive tale. As the story unfolds, his rise to power and the darkness he unleashed upon the world will continue to captivate and challenge us. Stay tuned for the next chapter, where the stakes grow higher, and the consequences become unimaginable. Adolf Hitler's rise to power and his eventual downfall form one of history's most chilling and cautionary tales. His story is a tapestry of ambition, manipulation, and destruction, a grim reminder of the power of words and the consequences of unchecked hatred. From fiery speeches to catastrophic wars, Hitler's life is a story of a man who reshaped the world through dreams that turned into nightmares. In the early 1920s, Hitler's speeches began drawing massive crowds. Thousands came to hear him, captivated by his impassioned promises of a stronger Germany. But beneath his soaring rhetoric lay dangerous ideas. Hitler blamed specific groups for Germany's troubles, promoting a vision of a nation exclusively for Germans. After World War I, Germany was in turmoil. The economy had collapsed, food was scarce, and millions were jobless. The country was burdened with reparations, fueling anger and despair among its people. Hitler seized on this pain, presenting himself as the man with the answers. "It's not your fault," he told the crowds, "I know who is to blame." His words offered hope to the desperate, but they also stoked hatred. Determined to expand his influence, Hitler tirelessly grew his Nazi party. Through fiery speeches and grand rallies, he promised, "Germany can be great again." His message resonated, and the movement gained momentum. In 1923, Hitler attempted to overthrow the government in the infamous Beer Hall Putsch. The coup failed, and Hitler was arrested, sentenced to 9 months in prison. It was during this time that he wrote Mein Kampf, My Struggle, a manifesto outlining his ideology. The book, which detailed his vision of a powerful Germany and vilified specific groups as enemies, gained a significant following after his release. Once out of prison, Hitler worked with renewed determination. By 1933, he had risen to the position of chancellor, becoming Germany's leader. His promises of jobs, military strength, and national pride convinced millions. Initially, his leadership brought visible changes. He oversaw the construction of roads, factories, and schools, reducing unemployment and revitalizing Germany's economy. People hailed him as a hero, unaware of the darkness lurking behind his success. Hitler quickly consolidated his power, silencing dissent through propaganda and fear. He controlled the press, radio, and education systems, ensuring that the public heard only his narrative. Those who opposed him were imprisoned or worse. He established the SS, a paramilitary force, and the Hitler Youth, a group indoctrinating young boys with Nazi ideology. The swastika became an omnipresent symbol of his regime, a mark of the control he exerted over every aspect of German life. In 1939, Hitler made his boldest move yet, ordering the invasion of Poland. This act triggered World War II, as nations around the world united to oppose his aggression. At first, his army seemed unstoppable, winning battles across Europe. Hitler's dream of dominating the continent appeared within reach. However, his ambition led to overreach. By 1944, Germany faced defeat as powerful enemies like the United States, Britain, and the Soviet Union closed in. Hitler's forces were spread too thin, and his once unstoppable army began to crumble. Amid the war, Hitler orchestrated one of history's greatest atrocities, the Holocaust. Driven by his twisted ideology, he sought to eliminate Jewish people and others he deemed undesirable. Millions were imprisoned, tortured, and murdered in concentration camps, a horrifying testament to the depths of human cruelty. By 1945, the war was all but lost. Soviet forces advanced from the east, while Allied troops pressed in from the west. German cities were reduced to rubble under relentless bombings. The people who once cheered Hitler began to question his leadership. Why did we follow him? They asked as their world fell apart. But Hitler remained defiant. Holed up in a bunker beneath Berlin, he refused to surrender. He clung to the belief that his vision could still prevail, even as reality closed in. As the Soviet army stormed Berlin in April 1945, Hitler's world unraveled. On April 29, he married his longtime companion, Eva Braun, in a somber ceremony within the bunker. The following day, faced with inevitable defeat, the couple ended their lives. Hitler was 56 years old. His death marked the collapse of the Nazi regime, and Germany surrendered on May 8, 1945. The aftermath of Hitler's rule was devastation. Germany lay in ruins, its people grappling with the horrors of war and the Holocaust. Millions had perished, and the world was forever changed. Hitler's vision of power had instead brought unimaginable suffering and loss. Today, Adolf Hitler's name serves as a stark warning of the dangers of hatred, unchecked ambition, and the misuse of power. His story is a chilling reminder of the consequences of prejudice and division. Yet, it also offers lessons in resilience and the importance of compassion. History is not just about the past, it's a guide for the future. By choosing unity over division, love over hate, and humility over pride, we can build a better world. Hitler's legacy is a lesson for humanity. Every action, no matter how small, shapes the world we leave behind. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to USA Readers for more exciting stories that help you learn English while exploring history. See you in the next story.